And a thing on next week on Thursday, Globebusters Tech. We're going to be doing a meet and greet, and I think Camby's going to tell us about Bell's theorem and light polarization. Are you familiar
Nice.
with Bell's
That'll
theorem,
be fun.
Shane?
Nope, never heard of it.
Oh, dude, so
She's
check.
gonna nerd out.
Dude, it's
Yeah.
awesome. You can take a polarized filter, right? And then you can take another one, offset it by 90 degrees, and then it'll completely block out all the light behind it, right? And then you could add
I've
a
seen
third.
the videos.
Yeah,
I
you
just
add a
didn't know
third
that's what it's
filter
called.
at a
Back
45 to
becomes-
those two 90s. Yeah, dude, it brings the light back. And they're like, light's a particle. It definitely checks out. This is fine.
I mean, the only way that works as a particle with a probability cloud is if you treat it like a toroidal field, and the particle is like its theoretical geocentric center from which all angular motion is projected, like we just did for how they got globe Earth out of elevation angles off a flat horizontal plane, right? That's the only way that would make sense to me.
I feel like that's a roundabout way to describe a wave.
Yeah, it is, right? Well, if it's not a particle, it's a toroid. And how can a particle interfere with itself and be misconstrued as a wave from a side profile or whatever? It's like, well, no. If it was a big field with overlapping, then the fields could constructively or destructively interfere with each other or whatever, theoretically. So a particle interferes with itself. But we know that's crazy anyway. It's not a particle. It's a wave. That's why it needs wave equations to describe its motion.
Yeah, and then they just square a probability function on the back of the nicely, neatly wrapped wave equation. And they're like, look, there's our cloud of distribution of where it isn't, and we'll never be able to measure it. Isn't that
Just
cool?
mathematical
Hey, do
gobbledygook.
you like determinism? You gotta give that up. What? All right. So let's go over the new Man of Stone and Taboo videos. We'll start us off with Taboo because he's going to give us the segue into Stone's video.
The second new proof put forward, I think, from Man of Stone himself. This is excellent. Right? Corresponding shadow sets.
Hello, everyone.
Oops, I have to reshare to get the audio on there. Give me one.
Infinite regress.
Yep. Stop. Start.
Yeah, Spacebusters put out a video this morning about sun times, sunrises and sunsets, and how they don't predict it very accurately on, different major websites, time and date and time. He went all around the different Antarctica bases and put it all into a big data spreadsheet.
Nice. Well,
yeah, it was pretty well done.
Nice. All right, so Ben's going to take it away here.
Everyone. Hello, everyone. Today, I wanted to share some more evidence of our flat and stationary Earth. This evidence comes again from the channel Space Audits and from the BitChute channel Man of Stone, who made the original observation. A big thanks to both of them. I'll have links in the description where you can go and subscribe and show your support. As a side note, YouTube took down my last video pursuant to another false copyright strike. Fortunately, you can still watch that video on Odyssey, Rumble, and BitChute. A few years ago, I originally shared this video from the channel Shadow Reveal. I love it. Shadow Reveal is a professional architect and a friend. In that video, Shadow Reveal created a Blender simulation of both the globe and the flat Earth with respect to shadows. Notice that under the globe, how the sunlight through the window starts low right here and then rises up the wall as the sun allegedly continues to drop to a lower angle based on our perspective on the ground. This is the important issue. Notice how the sunlight on the wall at sunset rises even higher than the window itself as the sun drops lower than the window. Furthermore, the Earth bulge itself, which is this shadow line right here, soon overtakes the shadow of the pillar as the sun drops even lower than the physical Earth geometric horizon, creating an upward Earth curvature shadow. On a flat Earth, the light through the window still starts low, but in stark contrast to the globe, the light from the sun through the window would never rise higher than the window itself until the sun gradually moves farther away until the sun fades out. After Shadow Reveal's simulation video, an engineer took that rising Earth bulge shadow and created this Cinema 4D simulation that shows how the alleged Earth bulge shadow would continue to rise until the shadow of the Earth itself would hit the underside of the clouds above us. In other words, if the globe were real, based on our perception, there would have to be an upward Earth bulge shadow that would be created by the physical globe and the sun dropping at an angle lower than your feet, as shown in this simulation. This upward shadow, which would look something like this, does not happen in reality, which should happen at both sunrise and sunset if the globe were real. This indisputably proves the globe false, as the sun never drops lower than the apparent horizon. It also indisputably proves globe geocentric claims and the big Earth model's false. I hope you understand that. But let's get back to the main point for this video. Fortunately, Man of Stone has a window on his house that is set up very similar to the Shadow Reveal simulation. To his credit, Man of Stone decided to test the simulation, and he has done it a couple of times now. For this recent test, he placed a magnet here to mark the bottom of the window directly across from the wall. Remember, based on our simulation, and just common sense, if the globe were real, then the light through the window on the wall would have to rise higher than the window itself, as the sun drops at an angle lower than the window. If the Earth is flat, which it is, then the light through the window would not climb higher than the actual window. Here is Man of Stone's test. I have sped up the video for brevity. According to the observation, the light from the sun never reached the height of the window. In actuality, the light from the window on the wall ended up at about 12 centimeters below the height of the actual window. This confirms a flat Earth. It's also interesting as to the difference in the amount of light going through the window. This was at the beginning of the test, and this was at the end of the test. This matches the argument that the sun seemingly fades out due to the opacity of air. This drone footage from DITRH's channel shows us how the sun doesn't actually fall below the horizon, but simply fades out. But the sun, whatever it is and however it works, always remains higher than the ground
first
itself.
time I saw that.
Here's a video from SpaceX that seems to show the same departing sun. And this is a new sun fade out from an airplane.
Did it fade out in space? Is that what the SpaceX showed? The sun faded out too, just to a little point. Holy cow!
Dude, it's
I
so
didn't realize
good.
that the first time.
It's
It
so
showed
good.
a SpaceX fade out where it just regresses to a point instead of receding over the edge of that ball. Like what? Why is it doing that, SpaceX?
Just always above the horizon, bro. Oh, but look at this curve. Yeah, is that optical or is that
Focusing on the curve and forgot what the sun should look like on a ball getting eclipsed by its own geometric horizon.
right?
dude.
Dude, look at that.
That's not what it's
That-
supposed to look like, guys.
No. Dude, that's crazy, bro.
That's great. All right, continue. Sorry.
No, that's I'm glad you pointed that out because that is so significant. Remember the when we were arguing this a couple of weeks ago, we had the
Yeah.
weather balloon footage and it was like kind of blurry, it wasn't very good, and they were like, "Oh, well, that's what we predict." Like, bro, we're on a rocket now. We're as
That's
high
not
as you
what
guys
predict.
we're as high as you guys think we're going, and it's not doing the thing that it should be doing.
And this is a new sun fade out from an airplane.
Dude, sun fade outs were like my favorite flat Earth proof coming into the community. It was my, as Zach just said, dude. Blew up my
Man
brain.
of Stone has given us more geometric evidence that the sun never physically drops below a physical globe barrier horizon from our perspective as required by the globe. What's also fascinating is the fact that the upward movement of the sun's light on the wall is at a constant rate until the end, where the sun begins to slow down and level out as shown in this graph. As the sun slows down, it then fades out. This again proves that the sun's apparent motion in the sky does not match the spinning Earth globe model.
It has to be
This is
constant.
a simple
on the globe.
test that anyone can perform. If you would like to know more, I suggest you watch the full discussion on the Space Audits channel. I didn't want to spend too much time on the details, but I wanted to share some more indisputable evidence of our flat Earth that builds on this discussion and sunsets and sunrises. Not long ago, I shared this video of a cloud casting a shadow at sunset. Let's watch that original video again.
Check this out. Like this cloud that the sun is hiding behind has broke through.
Oh no, it's Mount
Looks like
Rainier.
a spotlight. And then it carries over. All the way over to here.
Dude, an
Is that not the
anti-crepuscular
coolest
sun
thing?
shadow.
It's like I'm under a giant canopy.
As I explained,
It's like I'm inside of another globe.
That's a crazy observation. That's a Mount Rainier
Yeah.
anti-crepuscular shadow, dude.
Oh, dude, it gets better. I love this video. And then
I've taken
Like-
pictures of anti-crepuscular rays. I did a video on it. And it's so weird looking. The sky, it was banded. It was like shadow, sky, all the way around me. And then they all converge on the other side.
For what seems like no real reason that you can
Yeah.
imagine, like when you're looking
Yeah.
at it.
then
wow.
this triangular shadow from the cloud disproves the globe propaganda's claim that this triangular shadow from Mount Rainier is a supposed upward shadow being cast on clouds above the mountain. The globe claim is entirely wrong and, frankly, a bit childish. The triangular shape is only a matter of perspective and has nothing to do with the shape of the mountain. Only the top part of Mount Rainier is casting a shadow and is being cast on clouds below the peak. The triangular shape is simply perspective from a lower vantage point. How can I say that with certainty? Well, first, the supposed upward shadow has never been filmed from the top of a mountain, ever. Second, the triangular shadow shape cast from the cloud clearly matches the shadow from Mount Rainier, even though the physical objects are most certainly different shapes. More importantly, this anti-crepuscular type shadow is 100% impossible on a globe. Because on a globe, a shadow from a cloud at the horizon could not wrap around the curvature. It would shoot upwards towards space. From the observer's perspective, the shadow would cut off at a point above the observer's head, and certainly could not make it to the other side of the sky approximately another 100 miles away. At a distance of roughly 200 miles from horizon to horizon, that would be a curvature drop of nearly 27,000 feet. What can they claim? That gravity makes cloud shadows wrap around the curvature too? Since that cloud shadow video, I have also filmed this phenomenon. At first glance, my video is not as awesome as the first video. It was actually a lot better until I realized I needed to film it, and it died down before I started recording. But my video makes an excellent point because notice where the sun is. This video, which was filmed August 5th, 2024 at 8:35 p.m., was taken only 4 minutes before sunset. The sun appears to be lower than the clouds. You can't even see it. Under the globe, the sun would have to be at an angle lower than the clouds, but the sun
Hugely important distinction of what it should look like if the sun were illuminating it from underneath, right? That's crazy.
the sun would have to be at an angle lower than the clouds, but we know that's not true because only the tips of the clouds are casting shadows. Only the tips of the clouds are casting the shadows, and they extend across the entire sky, which is also impossible on the globe. My laser test friend Robert, who now lives in the Philippines, just sent me these photos that were taken right before sunset. Again, the shadow extends across the entire sky, and the sun appears to be angled lower than the clouds. But it can't be, since it's right before sunset. Any way you look at it, sunrises, sunsets, and shadows prove the flat Earth. Thanks for watching.
Dude, what'd you think of
Everywhere
that?
you look at it, that's awesome.
Dude, that's one of my favorites, and it's also great evidence of curved visual space. It's very complementary to that because it's like, what's the mechanism by which a shadow bends around me 360 degrees like that, like just arcs
It's
over me? Well, do you see in a 360-degree dome of vision, but only have 180 degrees for your field of view? Perhaps.
I mean, it's hard to explain, like, because like to a globe ray, right? Because what we just saw is true. Like for a globe, you would never see an anti-crepuscular ray, but what they've done is convince everyone that what we do see as a result of living on a flat
Is a
Earth with a local
result of
sun
the
is
globe is
actually
literally
because we
bending
live
the
on a
ray.
globe. Yeah, dude, it's such a crazy mind job that it's like, how do you tell someone, like, listen, you shouldn't see that? And then like even like the beginning video with the shadow simulation, like the to simulate what it would be on a globe looks counterintuitive to people because they're like, but no, every sunrise looks like that one. Like these flat earthers are just wrong. They're just taking the globe prediction again, right? That's how that's how they start to get it. And it's like, no, we're breaking it down to you how they lied and told you that everything you see is because you live on a globe. No, this is what it would actually look like if it was a sphere, right? You'd have this perfectly illuminated geometric line and a cutoff, all the illumination, and that would be reflected upward on the clouds, right? Like those things would happen. No one's ever seen it. It's unfortunate.
Think about the inversion that they had to do. They have to say that the spatial field is Euclidean, which it is, and then they go, but also visual field's Euclidean. And the only way there's a change is if you're tilted on ball. It's like, oh, dude, what have you done?
That's the other one. Even with like celestial coordinates, they're like, okay, so the whole world is just happens to be tilted at the ecliptic at the exact degree that we say the world is tilted. And then in that way, perfectly parallel light rays that no one has ever seen that don't exist actually make perfect sense in our theoretical mathematical model. It's like, okay, that's a neat trick you guys pulled again.
And that's the reason we can't draw a straight line to a triangle. Jeez. All right, so let's head over to Man of Stone's video. I just realized due to copyright situations, I'm going to link Stone's video, and we'll skim through some of it without the audio on because of copyright. Here, mute.
Yeah, we can't be playing that artist.
Let's see here. We have link in chat. All right, so check out Man of Stone's video. Definitely watch this. And also I recommend, I don't think he has the full breakdown, but he did a live presentation last night. Or I'm sorry, on Friday on the weekend. I can link you guys here. So if you want the full breakdown and presentation of Stone going over it a couple of times, here's the video for that. So you can really hammer in on the details there. As we know, Stone makes detailed, rich videos that have to be interpreted via awesome graphs. So to kind of reiterate what Taboo put forward is that, the sun has to be moving at 15 degrees per hour to create the, the effects that we see. And we're saying that, as it gets further away from us, it's just, there'll be a time when there's a deviation from that a little bit. And Stone measures that. I'm at about 20 minutes here. You can see at sunset where it's literally stops moving and then it just fades out against the wall there. That happens at 20 minutes.
Yeah, am I wrong to assume that globularity requires that to be a constant rate no matter what because it's caused by the uniform Earth rotation, right? In no way should it hang up or pause or stop or any of the stuff that we just saw.
In no way would it ever be able to. We have, oh yeah, sorry. So to start us off here, Taboo went over the different geometric predictions that both models would make, and here we have on the wall here, there's a magnet that signifies the height of the window, the bottom of it. And if the Earth is a globe and the sun is setting below the horizon, then this shadow is going to exceed the height of it before the the Earth bulge shadow just sweeps by and fades to black, right? Now, what was measured here never exceeds the height of it, and it stops here, guys. Shane, what were you just saying about uniform ball rotation?
Right, it would have to have a constant velocity and speed. It would have to go sweeping all the way through. It would have to maintain constant velocity, or it's not caused by the Earth rotating, right? Unless the Earth slows down when sun sets. That would be the dynamic explanation for that, right?
Now, you could make an argument like, um, I honestly, without it moving up any further as it fades out, I really don't even know what globe argument you could make to make this happen. So
I
I
know. The only thing
I
I
thought
could
I
say
had
for
something
its
for a second, and then it was just like, no, it would still have to be moving up continuously, even a little bit, to it's just not. It's literally reaches
Well,
its maximum elevation that you're gonna observe it from, that it's gonna get light from, and then it's gone. And this is that. So anyway, we're gonna look at something really significant here that Stone did. Where he takes so this is the deviations for the 15 degrees per hour, plotting that against the projected versus what was measured, and we see that there's a clear deviation from the expected here. But the really cool part about what was done was that when you get into here, we're looking at a little hill that is a little higher than Stone's window, that gives even some more benefit to the globe. But when we get to this diagram here, what we're looking at specifically, we have Stone's westward facing door at sunset. We have the sunlight coming in, and we have the red line is going to be our magnet, and that's going to signify the position of the sun above the horizon. We have the green line, and that's going to be the shadow that is, and the angle difference between the two. So if you take the measurement from the distance between that magnet and the bottom part of the shadow where it stopped, you take the difference from that, you get it, and you draw it out for an angle. What you'll show is that the sun set above the horizon with 70% of its angular size.
this little triangle says it
So
all. So
that's
literally, how
so
could it set with the sun above the horizon? That also isn't possible at all for the globe. It should be zero, right? Should be zero above the horizon at sunset every time for the globe.
Yeah, it's actually, isn't it like 2 degrees below the horizon? And we're still seeing it,
Because it
supposedly?
gets refracted that little bit, to cause
Yeah.
that thing or whatever.
Yeah.
yeah. So check this out. If the Earth were a globe, this red line would be under the green line, and we'd be having a whole different, uh, you know, episode here.
This is bad.
It's devastating. So definitely check this video out. This is another huge drop where we're using triangles again to show that the objects in the sky are with respect to a flat Earth baseline, and the objects in the sky are never going below the horizon, which is absolutely mandatory if the Earth were a globe. And the
Also,
celestial
the crux,
phenomenon were occurring, beyond it in such a way that you're rotating away from.
the crux of all their argument every time they start is look at the sun going beneath the. Where's the rest of the sun, flat earthers? You see this sunset? Where's the bottom half of my disk? It's obviously beneath Earth curve that you can't see, which is causing the sunset. It's like, nope. See this graph? See how 70% of the sun is above by the time it. Like, no, actually, what you're seeing is not the sun disappearing by Earth curve. It's disappearing over the horizon. How much over? Quantified 70% over. It's 70% above. Like, come on. If it's 0.53 degrees normally, how is it setting it with a 0.34? That means most of it is there. Only the tiniest bit of the bottom is gone based on perspective. No Earth curve evident. I mean, granted, this one's like 100 meters up, I think, right? That Dearth one.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, man, that's all I got for this week. All I got is all I got this week is a brand spanking new flat Earth proof that supplements an old argument that takes it to an extreme by drawing triangles, and no man wants to argue against a triangle. That's all we got.
Some men.
Yeah,
do.
that's a good one. That is a good one.
And kinematics for the sky, showing that the asserted dynamics are pretty much physically meaningless when it comes to cosmology, and in some cases, even on the ground, making the dynamic prediction has nothing to do with the mass. So that's pretty cool.
That's a big one.
Pretty cool. All right, so if there's any questions from anyone in the chat or on Discord, go ahead and send your request up now.
Yeah, I'm having headset issues. the plug's going out in the thing right here, and if I don't set it in the right spot, it doesn't want to charge. So I've been kind of off to the side with the thing plugged in over here.
I've lost many a headset to charging port for shenanigans, so enjoy.
That's where they make their money right there. That's the part they
Charging.
created to break.
Yeah, the classic. You become a lifetime product member guy.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Wouldn't it be nice if, I mean, instead of wasting money or wasting resources on creating inferior products, just creating the best product you can out of the materials we have, and everybody could have like the good stuff for, you know,
Then
a reasonable price.
how could I-
Yeah, how do I make